So today, had a good day. I didn't overtrade. I only took like 30 tickets or something like that. Traded about 8,000 shares. Um, so let's start with what I did with Wells Fargo. I made most of my money off of Wells Fargo. Um, so let's see with Wells Fargo. I do here. So I took the opening range breakdown for Wells Fargo. Let's see here. So this is a 5-minute opening range. I waited until it went below VWAP, and the reason for that is when I was looking at the 1 minute, it was basically very choppy. So I could have taken it up here, but I wasn't sure if it was going to go back up or not. So I waited for the next 1 minute to open before I went short. So when it opened and it was below this consolidation period, I went short. And as it dropped below the moving averages, I covered. It popped back up, which is kind of expected because every time it's descended from any moving average, the tendency is to move back towards the moving average. So that's what happened here. And I waited again to see if it was going to be a reversal and a pop towards VWAP, or if it was going to continue to move down. On the 1 minute, I saw that it went past again this sort of consolidation period, and once it broke this level, I went short again, smaller size than before, and then I started to cover on the way down. And I think what happened here too was it kind of popped on me. So I stopped out before losing profit, but then I went short again once it was very weak. And then I continued to cover down. And then what I did on the flip side here was I waited for a reversal. I knew a reversal was coming, just didn't know when. And then when I saw this 5-minute candle, I didn't take the trade yet, simply because this was very small, so it could be a retracement. And if that was the case, I would have went short again to continue to trend downwards. But it did make a new 5-minute candle, and then on the 1 minute side, it couldn't make a new low. It was getting close to the moving average, and I saw that at this point it sort of stabilized around this area, the 53.78. So I went long. My stop loss would be at 53.78, and what I went long at 53.82. So it's not too bad, right? So the risk is very small, reward is very big. So as it popped up, I covered, and then it started to drop. And when it did, I saw that on the 5-minute that this was a level of support. So when that happened, and I saw that this corresponded to the 53.96 level, which is above both moving averages, this was a strong 1 minute candle, another strong 1 minute candle. In fact, this 1 minute candle popped above the simple moving average. So I felt confident. I went long again. And then I covered all the way up to VWAP. I could have held some shares for the pop above VWAP, but oftentimes that doesn't happen. And I was close to making, sort of my goal for the day, my profit target for the day. And so when that happened, I exited my position. So that was my trade for Wells Fargo. And then for Citigroup, okay. So for Citigroup, I was playing Wells Fargo, so I didn't really pay attention to this until Wells Fargo started to consolidate. When that happened, I was looking at Citigroup for a possible reversal because of this. But then it basically just moved back towards the moving average, and it continued to drop. When I saw this drop, and then as it was falling, I realized that this was going to continue to drop further. On level 2, it looked very weak as well, so I went short, and then as the stock started to drop, I covered, waited for a bit, it dropped again, I covered, and then I held the last piece to see if it would continue to drop. It did not, so I covered again. I could have done the reversal here as well, but when I was looking at the reason why I did Wells Fargo versus this was because this is what, 626 to 680. So that's about 60 cents. And I think Wells Fargo is much better. So Wells Fargo 53.70 to 54.25. So actually, it's about the same. I guess I felt more confident with Wells Fargo because I made quite a bit of money off of that, and it's cheaper stock, so you can technically take more shares. So that's why I chose Wells Fargo, but I don't think you would have been wrong either if you took Citigroup. So either way, done for the day. And we'll see what Monday brings. Yeah, I'm proud of the way I traded today. So anyway, take care and have a great weekend.